Hi, this is Penny Oates again, and I'd like to do a short video on getting commitment. Now, getting commitment is something that seems to be overlooked a lot of times within the sales process and when you're learning sales skills. And I found when I was in sales it was actually the most important thing that you could learn. So let's have a look at that. I've been in sales for longer than I care to remember, and most of my life really. I started in sales, over-the-counter sales, selling to newsagents, then grocers, chemists, that type of thing, in a company situation, with a specific way of making sales. And I kind of thought I was good at sales until I left that environment and went into direct sales. And then it was a real culture shock, because you didn't get paid regardless, you only got paid if you made the sale. And sales weren't that easy, because in those days you were allowed to cold call, and they weren't people that had specifically requested that service, so it was a much harder sale to make. Now, I've done all sorts of things. I was selling properties, I was selling advertising, but I think it was only when I started selling mortgages that I got to grips with getting commitment to proceed. And I think the main reason for that was twofold. Firstly, it was because it was a 2-appointment sale, so if you didn't get a commitment on the first appointment, by the time you got back for the second appointment a couple of weeks later, you'd lost the sale. And the other reason that I think it was quite important to get commitment, the sales training that I had made it very, very clear that that's what you had to do. They actually had a script, which I've included in my blog just for a bit of a laugh, because the script is fairly hard, fairly aggressive, but there's bits in that blog that I'm itching like mad here because I've just been outside and there's loads of midges, but never mind. There's bits in that script that you can take out and use in any sales or communication situation whatsoever. What made me finally get the plot, I had a sales manager at the time, well, he actually owned the company, and we would go through the appointments that I had on a monthly basis. We'd have a meeting, we'd go through the appointments that I'd had and sales that I'd make. And he would come to Smith, Penny, why didn't you sell that one? And I would be giving him a reason, or an excuse really, but on why I didn't sell it. And each time he would be sat there with a piece of paper and a pen, and he would write down, when I said, their circumstances have changed, CTP. And then I would say, well, they thought the fee was too much, CTP. Well, they thought that they'd wait another year before they changed, CTP. And every single sale that I didn't make, he used to write down CTP. I didn't even know what CTP was, and eventually I sort of, curiosity got the better of me, and I said, what's this CTP? And he said, commitment to proceed. I had commitment, I definitely had commitment. Quite obviously I didn't, or I'd have made the sale, because I didn't realise how important it was at that stage. So anyway, he kept doing this month after month. He was writing down CTP every time I didn't make a sale, and I was finding it harder and harder to justify why I hadn't made the sale. And then I said, well, I couldn't make that sale. The client has died. And he just looked at me, looked down at a sheet of paper and wrote CTP, which quite obviously I couldn't have made the sale, because the sale was no longer required. But I got the point then. If you don't make a sale, it's down to not getting sufficient commitment in the first place. And a lot of it is you not feeling comfortable. As a salesperson, we want to be liked by our clients. We build a rapport, We get chatting to them about things that they're interested in. We take them to the sales process in a nice, softly way. We may be brave enough to ask for the sale, but we don't ever get commitment. And we were using a 4-part commitment to proceed script. Now, very rarely did people use that all the time because everybody felt uncomfortable with it. But because I was doing an awful lot of work and not making the sales that I should, I started using this script, and it was amazing. The first time I used it, to be fair, the hairs, when the hairs stand up on the back of your neck, they stood up, and I thought, he's never going to go for this. He's going to chuck me out. And the first time, I lost the sale. He looked quite horrified. I didn't exactly kick me out, but I certainly didn't get the sale, and it put me off for a while. But I started using it again, and the only reason that first time had put me off is because it obviously sounded scripted, because I didn't know it that well. Once I'd learnt it, or learnt the key phrases in it, I used it all the time. And it's 7 years since I've ever done a sale in mortgages, and I still know all 4 parts verbatim, off the top of my head, inside out, back to front. I can say that script. But there are a lot of key phrases that can be used in that script. I'll give you an example. We used to start off in the first part as a softy commitment to proceed, and it was something along the lines of, well, I asked to see you today to show you mortgage cost reduction. That's the first part of our visit. Do you want me to stay for the second part to help you to benefit from what you've seen? Because I'd like to make it absolutely clear, I can only stay from this point at your request. So, can you see the terminology, the phraseology there? It's moving from me trying to sell them something, in their mind that is, to them instructing me to stay. So I've moved it round a little bit. They've asked me to stay, so I'm starting to get a little bit of commitment. There are key phrases in there, and then we'd go through a questionnaire asking a bit about themselves and their circumstances, etc. Then it would move on to asking them what they wanted on their mortgage, and I needed commitment at this stage because we were then going to put the company to a lot of time and a lot of effort in preparing a proposal, and there was no point doing that if I wasn't going to go back and make the sale. So the second part that we used for commitment to proceed would be something along the lines of, before we complete this section, I'd like to make it absolutely clear that whatever you tell me you want now will be prepared in your proposal. Therefore, it's imperative that what you request is exactly what you've decided to proceed with. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole script, but can you see that they turned it round to they had decided to proceed with? There's words or phrases like decided to, proceed with, are always very good at getting commitment. And then you would take the third part, and there would be more harder, more taxing questions, if you like. Can we proceed on that basis? Are you prepared to give your commitment to me? And that type of thing. But the beauty of it was that it was gradually increasing the volume, if you like, on the commitment. Even to this day, I want commitment. I expect to have commitment from people if I'm going to go and talk to somebody about a network marketing opportunity. I don't expect them to have bought it before I go and talk to them, but I need to know that if I can, they will. So if I can explain it to their satisfaction and they like what they hear, then they are prepared to go forward and do that opportunity. So if I can, will they? Because if I ask them if I can, will they, and they say no, I'm not going to spend my time going to see them. I need to clarify it more, give them another video, ask them a few more questions before I'm going to take time out of my day to talk to somebody, even if they're a top leader. I'm not going to spend time if I don't have commitment. Now, I'm not going to prolong this conversation on the video. There's a lot more information on the blog about how to get commitment, but I just wanted to point out that as a sales skill, it's probably one of the most important skills that can be learnt. And it's not just for direct sales, it's not hard sales, it's common sense. Why would you waste your time if they don't want to do it, no matter what you say? So you need to ask the question, if you can, will they? It's been great talking to you. For more informative videos, more help, go to my website at www.onlinebusinessopreview, that's op with an OPP.com, and I look forward to talking to you another time.